Question number 1, I'm taking prednisone. How will it impact my digestive health? So what exactly is prednisone? Prednisone is a steroid that you take for a number of different conditions, whether it's an autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis, in which you try to minimize the inflammation. Maybe you take it for lung issues like asthma or any other lung issues like that. Or maybe you have a gut issue, an autoimmune gut issue like Crohn's or colitis, in which you take steroids. Now, prednisone or steroids have a lot of side effects with them. What it does is basically increases your adrenal glands, the glands that are inherently in you, to help produce steroids. And that effect can be all over your body. Long-term steroid effects are significant, and it can cause a lot of complications for a lot of individuals. So for example, long-term steroids can make you gain a lot of weight. It can also cause you to increase the risk for developing cataracts, bone issues. It can also cause the risk for developing heart disease, and also a lot of GI issues associated with this as well. So for example, we know that prednisone increases your risk of developing stomach ulcers. And this actually is a risk factor for developing a really bad ulcer inside your stomach, especially if you take prednisone without taking anything else to help protect your stomach. Number 2 is there's a risk of developing a bleed from that ulcer when you're on prednisone. That's a really significant problem, in which you can actually have bleeding coming out from your body. And I've unfortunately treated a number of patients who are on prednisone, and they develop a gastrointestinal bleed because of that, and we had to treat them, and they had to be in the ICU. Unfortunately, it's a very common problem whenever you take prednisone without trying to protect your stomach. Number 3, you can develop fatty liver from prednisone. Oh yeah, absolutely. That fat that you gain from the prednisone side effects can go into your liver and lead to a condition called fatty liver disease, which in turn can lead to liver cirrhosis as well. You'll also, because of that weight gain, you have a higher risk of developing reflux or heartburn. So a lot of my patients who are on chronic steroids for any number of different reasons have worsening heartburn and worsening reflux. And then lastly, steroids can really jack up your microbiome. Our microbiome are these trillions of bacteria, fungi, and viruses that interact all the time. And that interaction can really play a role in a lot of our gut issues and non-gut issues as well. And so those steroids can really affect that, to make things a lot more complicated. So what can you do to help minimize those effects of prednisone or steroids? Well, number 1, if you're able to get off that prednisone quickly, that's going to be the best thing. Always use the advice of a healthcare professional whenever you want to get off prednisone, because you can't just stop it all by itself. Typically, you have to taper it down until you can get off it. Number 2, make sure you're taking the steroids for the right reason. Make sure you're being treated for the right reason as well. You don't want to take steroids just to take them. You want to take it for the appropriate reason, and make sure that reason is something that you understand. Number 3, if you're trying to improve what's going on inside your gut, I would highly encourage you to try to diversify your diet to include more plants. The number 1 thing that you can do to improve your gut health and your gut microbiome by far is to increase the diversity of plants that you eat. By far better than any medication I can give. This is going to be the number 1 thing to improve your gut microbiome. And then lastly, always be careful of the weight gain associated with prednisone. Sometimes this may be inevitable, but there are things that you can do to minimize that, whether it's exercising more, limiting the calories that you're eating, or things like that. But these are ways that you can minimize the side effects of prednisone on your GI tract. Let me know in the comments down below if you are taking prednisone, have taken it, and have had side effects from that. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on that.